One of the things that happened on the trip up to study under Morris Kahansky was that the seat of my pants ripped out. And there are these old Swedish military issue wool pants, you know, that have been around forever. They were surplus, and the pants ripped, and I shouldn't have been surprised because there was already a patch there from when the previous owner had to repair it. And so I went looking through my stuff and I discovered that I didn't have my sewing kit, which is unusual because every single day wherever I am I have this on me, and one of the things in there is a little sewing kit that I made that's got needles and thread and extra thread, and basically this goes with me every day, and especially something like that goes with me into the wilderness. And so the reason I didn't have this with me that time was that it was in another bag, and there's a firearm in that bag, and I didn't want to mess with taking it out and this and that, so I just left that bag and packed a different bag, and I forgot my sewing kit. Well, there was a guy there named Grizzly Dave that had a really neat sewing kit, and I'm going to show that. And I borrowed his sewing kit, and I learned a couple little lessons about things to add to my repair kit from the course. And one of them is to add some patches for fabric and other things that I'm using. And I'm in the process of rebuilding my sewing kits. In a week or two here, depends on a number of factors, but in a week or two here I'm going on a pretty extended expedition through jungle and mountains, and so I'm real keen on having a couple sewing kits with me. One of the things that Grizzly Dave mentioned was the Mad Trapper, and I always get a kick out of the Mad Trapper because this old Charles Bronson movie called Death Hunt, and the Mad Trapper was some guy that they still don't know who he is, but he was up in the northern Canada there, and he basically led the entire Canadian military on a big wild goose chase, and he had pretty minimal stuff with him. But one of the things he had is a sewing kit, and Dave and I talked about that a little bit, and it was kind of neat. I found there's a book called, and I got the title of it here, a book called, let's see, The Mad Trapper of Rat River by Dick North. And anyway, he's got an appendix and exhibit in there with a photo of his gear that he had with him, and then a list of all of his gear. And I'm really shocked at how similar what he carried is to what I carry when I go on longer expeditions. And I'll put a link to a video up here of the last expedition I went on. It's like 7-day jungle bug out bag or something. But anyway, he had a sewing kit, and he carried red pepper, which I can only interpret as cayenne pepper, and salt. And in my modern stuff I carry hot sauce and soy sauce, and there's different reasons for that, and one of these days, if you ask in the comments, I'll explain it. But for this longer trip, I'm thinking of leaving out the liquid and just carrying cayenne pepper and salt instead of the soy sauce and the other. One of these times I'm going to make a video on sewing kit as I get things put together here. I'm actually going to carry at least 2 kits, duplicate of another. Another thing I'm doing is I'm going to have a pack with me, but this expedition's a little different in that a lot of times communal gear goes into different packs and things like that. So I'm also going to have a little belt kit with me, and I haven't decided on the dimensions of it or exactly how I'm going to carry it, but the belt kit is going to have stuff that absolutely never leaves my side, like passport. I was dumb enough one time to lose a passport in a third world country, and that was a pain in the butt. other things like, you know, a signal mirror, and I've got a really good signal mirror to show you eventually, and just everything I would need that if I didn't have this stuff, I knew I would be in hot water. So I'm thinking like fire, fishing hooks, sewing kit, signal mirror, just real simple stuff that I know I'm going to need. Oh, water purification. Real simple stuff that I know I'm going to need just in case something should happen, because the distance that this expedition is covering is pretty vast, and it's through a place where there are no people. And you know, last few of these things I've been on have been in areas where there are very few people, but there are people. Where I'm going now, there are no people, and I have to cross a huge distance of jungle and mountains and things like that, and so I'm really putting a lot of thought into this, and sewing kits are really important when you want to travel light and you don't want to carry 15 pairs of pants in case something happens to one. So anyway, I'm going to show you Grizzly Dave's sewing kit just as a little starter, and maybe give you some ideas. We have Grizzly Dave here. He's going to show me his sewing kit. It saved my butt because my pants split out. Typical thing.
In my travels in Sweden, I came across some developments by Sami people. They wear a wide leather belt, and on the belt they hang their knife from a bone ring. I'm just using a carabiner. But one of the things that they do carry is a sewing kit, and how it works is this can be antler. Mine's made out of a Mora knife handle, and I just drilled it out. It's a thong of leather with a loop, and then sewn onto the leather thong is a little bit of felt to hold your needles, and then you wrap the thread around. I have 3 different sizes of thread, and then at the end of the thong is a stopper to stop this from going all the way down. And that's on every Sami man's belt when he goes into the skogan, which is their forest.